Hello everyone. Today we are changing oil in our Ram 5500. Usually I would take this to the local dealership here and let them do the service on it because they use Mopar filters, things like that. And since I bought it brand new, I wanted to use all factory stuff, and it just kind of took less time out of our day to just drop it off, let them do the service. Well, we're not gonna let them do that anymore, and in today's video I'm gonna show you why we're done using the dealership. So we don't have any wiring ran out here to the lift yet. I'm working on, ordered a pole barn to put out here to cover everything up, make it a little bit more nicer, and we're about to be getting rid of a lot of this junk. There's the hood off the old Flat Nasty, and getting these tires organized and trying to get them out of the sun so they're not baking. But anyhow, we've got a generator plumbed out here right now that we're gonna fire up and get this thing in the air, and I'm gonna show you just what I'm talking about. This thing's heavy. Hopefully Nick has the parking brake on. So this lift is rated for 14,000 pounds. This truck probably weighs 10. They don't pick it up no problem. So as I was telling you guys, we've been taking our truck to the dealership and expecting to have Mopar filters put on our stuff. All right, there does not say Mopar. We're gonna remove this filter even more to show you. But that is a white filter, not a gray or a silver one like Mopar filters are. And so to get more into this, like I said, I'm not gonna mention any names, just a Dodge dealership we usually take our trucks to. I kind of stopped dealing with them for a while. The only reason I really went there is just because they're really local and right around the corner. But anyhow, I was like, well, we're gonna bring our truck back in and get an oil changed. And I just happened, I don't know what we're doing, checking the air filter on this thing or something. I'm like, wait, that's not a silver or Mopar filter, it's white. And I don't remember what it says on it now, but we're doing the oil change on it because it's due now. And come to find out, I call the dealership and I'm like, hey, why is there not a Mopar oil filter on our truck? Oh, well, we couldn't get any that day. I'm like, okay, so why didn't anyone tell us? Well, they usually just go and do the oil changes and don't really worry about telling customers. I'm like, well, you charged me. Keep in mind, this isn't a big deal, right? It's not like it's a ton of money. We're not hurting over a $30 oil filter. But they charged us $29.97 for an oil filter. It's supposed to be a Mopar oil filter, and it's not. And if I wanted to go somewhere and put some $2 Chinese oil filter on some cheap piece of junk, I would have went down to the 5-minute oil change and let them screw up my stuff, not took it to the dealership, which is supposed to be the best place to take it to, and install OEM factory parts on your stuff. Well, here we are with not factory parts on our truck. We are going to be installing today either a Mopar filter or a Wix filter from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Wix, we put on everything. They're great filters. And we're going to be doing a fuel filter change on it also. And I'm kind of curious to see what fuel filter in it, because I guarantee it does not have a Mopar fuel filter in it. And you may be thinking, Bruce, well, why don't you like these guys? Why don't you give them a chance? Well, see, about 4.5, 5 years ago, I had a single cab Dodge that I went to this dealership because my dad had bought trucks from them. We never had any problems with them. Great people at the time. And I was gonna trade my single cab Dodge in. So I traded in. They gave me a good trade, and I bought at the time a 2014 four-door Longhorn long bed Dodge truck. I traded the single cab in. It was deleted. It had no DPF or anything like that on it. And I traded in. They said, oh, well, it's deleted. I said, well, give me a week. I'll bring you the parts back up here, and I'll help you return it back to stock. So literally a week later, I bring the factory parts back up there for them to put it on. I told their tech in the back of the shop to call me when he's ready to put the stuff on. I'll help him flash the computers back to stock. Okay. And the service manager of the whole place, I guess, the general manager, for whatever reason, is all mad and huffy and puffy with me. But at the end of the day, the tech back there never called me to come bring it, to help him put it back to stock, install the stuff, because they mostly don't know what the heck they're doing up there. And so I never heard anything, never worried about it, because I honestly forgot. I'm busy. And I go up there 6 months later, going to buy a new car with my girlfriend, now wife, Amber. And I walk in, and the sales assistant manager, or whoever the heck this guy is, comes up and says, I'm not welcome to buy any vehicles from him. I'm like, okay, not a problem. I will go buy one somewhere else. And since then, I've bought literally 5 vehicles, at a different Dodge dealership because of them and their pettiness, right? When it was their own mess up, their own stupid mechanic for not calling me back so I could help them put the truck back to stock, which I agreed to when we sold the vehicle, traded in, whatever. So anyways, let's get this oil filter off and check the fuel filter and see if it's Mopar or not. All right, so Christian and I ran up to Harbor Freight and got this oil drain. We're gonna roll it under here and get our oil drain. We're gonna get the oil filter pulled off here. These 5500s are pretty dang beefy. There's no doubt about that. All right, so this thing has a thing to catch the, watch yourself, it's gonna splatter. It's always a mess. It's like a, there we go. Comes out of there like a freaking raging river. There you have it, guys, right there. We have a ProTech oil filter. I'm gonna do some research on this, but that definitely is not a Mopar oil filter. We've also dropped the fuel filter here, which is green. Mopar filters are black. Another filter being put on the truck. We're being charged Mopar prices and being told they're Mopar filters and they're not. All right, so I'm back here in the office and I've looked up the ProTech part number there. And looking up, we retail the filters between $5 and $8 realistically. And there's not even a website for these filters. Like, who in the heck even makes them? Only place they're really offered is on eBay and Amazon. So you know that the dealer did not get these things from some auto parts. And look how many, there's like no searches. And it is insane how you can't even, there's not much information on this filter. So it just goes to show it's a massive piece of junk. So let's look up just ProTech and see what kind of company stuff comes up on this here filter. Walmart, that's a given. Engine oil filter. You know, at the end of the day, it's just not a Mopar filter, and I carried my truck to the dealership to get factory parts put on it, and this is what they put on it and charge us for. Kind of BS. Well, rolling up here to O'Reilly, I'm gonna walk in here. You guys are gonna see. I'm gonna walk in here and grab a Mopar oil filter, and this is the same place the dealership up the road buys their oil filters from, our ProTechs. So you would think that if they're able to buy a ProTech oil filter from O'Reilly, they're just gonna buy a Mopar and put it on my truck, which is what we paid for. So let's go grab our Mopar filter. So I walked inside, I called O'Reilly ahead like 30-45 minutes ago, and they had the Mopar filter in stock, but when I walked in, they said they had just sold it, so that kind of sucks. But we have something just as good, which is the Wix XP. Really great oil filters. I'd much rather prefer Wix, to be honest, but I was gonna put Mopar on it because that's what I wanted in it originally. But let's go put this oil filter on and get it filled full of oil. So as it turns out, the green fuel filter that was up in here was a MicroGuard, and I called around to the dealership here in town and they didn't have any in stock, go figure. Which I understand there's shortages on stuff, and if you're gonna put not the stuff in people's vehicles because there's a shortage, that's understandable, but they need to be telling myself, and I can only imagine like how many customers that are not automotive literate, that are taking their cars places and getting brakes done, stuff like that, to these dealerships and expecting and paying for OEM parts. Guys, like, I don't know how to break this down for you. Like, an OEM oil filter is $30 from the dealership, right? This Wix, the best aftermarket oil filter you can possibly buy, was $14.95, right? So that just goes to show, like, imagine if they're putting a brake rotor on this thing. I mean, God forbid you take it in there, they charge you $150 for a Mopar brake rotor. Nowadays, that will buy you like 2 brake rotors. So, and they're making tons of money on all this stuff instead of being honest and saying, hey, we can't get the parts. This is what part we're putting on your truck, blah, blah, blah. This is the price. Do you want it or not? And so, you know, they don't even give you the chance to say no. They're just charging you for it, hoping you won't crawl up underneath your hood and look and see what's actually under your vehicle. So I got our Wix oil filter installed. I'm gonna let this thing down for the lift, put some oil in it, check the air filter in it. From now on, I'm just gonna start doing all my own services on my vehicles here. Plain and simple. So yeah, let's get this thing down. Another shining example. Guys, it's been 5,000 miles since we changed oil on this truck that very rarely goes off-road other than pulling around this dirt driveway, right? And you would think that the dealership, when you take your truck in for a full service, oil filter, fuel filter, everything, which is what it had last time it went in, that air filter would be checked. And you cannot tell me that this air filter right here was changed or was even anywhere near being this dirty within 5,000 miles. I mean, come on. I've been working on trucks a long time. And look at this. It's still just coming out. Not freaking possible. And look at this. That does not get that nasty and dirty in 5,000 miles. Like, they recommend you to change oil in these trucks at like 7 or almost 10,000 miles. And I always have it done at every 5,000 miles just because that's what I want to do. And this is BS. So off to Napa we go to go get a new air filter or O'Reilly, wherever at this point. It's freaking ridiculous, all this is. So for any of you that don't know, I went to Napa and got a new filter, deep pleated, metal on top, good one. And that this lower air filter housing does snap out of here really easy. So if you need to clean it out, like I just did, not that hard. And then that thing goes right there and your ram air hooks back up. And just like that, we're gonna have our air filter replaced. Well, this is an eye-opener to a lot of you guys because there are a lot of people that just get scammed by the dealerships. That, like, scam may be a little ruthless word to say there in this situation, but you take your vehicle to the dealer because it's where you bought it. You think that's the best place to take it. It's like a 75-25. Like, most of the time, they're just gonna do an absolute really crappy job. You should really take it to like your mom and pop shops, your places that have been in your local town for the longest. They will take care of your vehicle like it's their own. You know, the employee rollover rate at dealerships is absolutely crazy. I've had friends that have worked there and just see people roll in and roll out because they don't care. They'll pay Johnny Bebop off the road $10 to change your oil. And you really want some guys making 10 bucks an hour to change your oil, you can almost guarantee that he is not paying attention and does not care about what is going on. Especially when you're working with, a truck like ours, that's $80,000, $90,000 and you rely on it to work every day, So think about that next time you carry your vehicle to your dealership. Unless you know them really well, I know they're going to take care of your stuff. Always double check the work when you get it back, because you'll be in a situation like here I am with your air filter that's just absolutely disgusting. And that is not a 5,000 mile oil air filter, right, guys? I mean, this is something like, it's not like we have a problem paying our bills. It's like, just tell us if it needs something replaced, replace it. If you're not going to put factory OEM Mopar stuff on the truck, let the customers know. Stop charging them for crap Mopar prices for not Mopar parts, period. Just freaking stop. Now that our 5500 is full, new fuel filter, new oil filter, and new air filter, I'm gonna turn the fuel pump on, let it prime for a second because we changed the fuel filter, and we'll start it up. Put 3 gallons of Rotella 15W40 in it. She should be good to go. So our Ram's all serviced up. Do you guys remember the second gen that we bought up in Tennessee? That one and the 70,000 mile second gen over there. I'm actually gonna be, got a set of 35s over here. We're gonna be putting on this truck and a leveling kit and maybe repainting it and putting it up for sale. Got the tires over here. I think these are 35s. Yeah, right here, fuels. Good looking wheels. I actually bought those for my old truck, the Mega Cab, and ended up not putting them on it. So they're gonna end up going on our 200,000 mile second gen. And yeah, it's gonna look good. This will be our first truck I start selling. And then Excursion's sold. Guys supposed to come pick it up on Sunday. So the Lincoln, yeah, we can pull it on the lift finally. I went to pull on the lift the other day and the batteries were dead in it. So we'll see if it'll, or not the batteries, it was out of gas. So I think Nick filled it up full of fuel for me. And we'll let the fuel pump run. Let the fuel pump run for a minute. Oh, it's so hot. So hot. All right, old sweetheart's running. Battery jump box unhooked. We'll get this thing pulled up on the lift. Start fixing the brakes on it, get our new wheels put on it, and get her street legal. Maybe get the AC working in it, and get ready for that Cummins swap. Thankfully, we got the 5500 off, and the Lincoln got on here, and our lift, as you guys know, been sitting for quite a while, and I think our lift cylinder blew. It started leaking, but I had to keep going. If I let it done on the ground, it would have been impossible to get the cylinder out of there. Sick. I know what you guys are doing tomorrow morning. This car has 0 brakes now. All right, so what happened was that seal right there on the front of that cylinder definitely just blew out. Nothing we can't handle. Same cylinders as like a tractor or anything else. So, well, that kind of halts production for today. Maybe tomorrow the boys will get the cylinder apart and we'll get it fixed, and we can start tinkering with the Lincoln. And there's a lot of surface rust, but no like rusted through anything on this car. So we'll get her working again here shortly. And that's a wrap, boys and girls. Make sure y'all smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. And let me know any interactions you guys have had with your local auto dealerships. Remember, just keep it at home with the small mom and pop shops, or service it yourself. You know stuff's getting done the right way then.